Hey everybody, welcome back to JuJu's Journey. Today, I just got out the shower. I put on my granny muumuu, my favorite thin house coat there is. I'm going to let my hair dry by itself. I'm not going to put on any makeup until I have to. The only thing I'm planning on doing is going out to eat dinner tonight. And it's 97 degrees here today, and it's so humid, and I'm still not feeling the best. I'm still sinusy, all stopped up. So I said, I'm just gonna keep my hair wet, let it dry by itself. That'll keep me kind of cool. Wear this thin outfit until I have to put on my dress or what I'm gonna wear tonight. And I even told my daughter, we can even change plans. We don't have to do anything tonight. We can wait and do it tomorrow. So, if you're new here, I'm JuJu, and I'm 58, a widow. I live by myself. But today, what I think I'm going to talk about is the reality of living on $3,000 a month in 2026. I'm going to talk about the challenges, the lessons I've learned, how I budget my own money, and what I've been doing to build financial security while living on this very tight fixed income. I mean, if you're budgeting and you're cash stuffing and saving money or starting over later in life like I'm doing, I hope this video encourages you and reminds you that progress is possible, like even at our age, on a fixed income. Like, we can do it, I promise. And so all I can say is thanks for being a part of my journey. You know that this is my live journal of trying to start a new life for myself after being married my whole adult life, and then not expecting to be a widow. Like, it just happened. And then trying to live life on your own and starting over, it's very, very difficult. Very difficult. So I do have notes that I made, so you're going to have to kind of bear with me. But, $3,000 may look good to some people. I mean, I understand that. But in my reality, I'm still living in my 3,000 square foot home. I still have an electricity bill for a 3,000 square foot home. I have 2 heat pumps. One is older, like very old, and one is newer. I'm sure it's not the most energy efficient heat pump, the older one. I mean, I think basically it works better than the new one, but it's really old. I've been living in this house now for 27 years, and I think it was like 17 years old, the heat pump, when we bought the house. They don't make them like they used to. But my home, when I bought my home, was already an older home. And so my home has maintenance that needs to be done constantly, just like any home does. And I've had to put a halt to all of those maintenance, all the maintenance issues that my husband and I were working on. At the time that he was only sick for 1.5 months. He was just retired during COVID, right at the beginning of COVID. And we were always do-it-yourselfers. We've never hired anyone to do anything. Very little. Like if we needed a new roof, yeah. But a huge tree removal, yes. But all the other stuff, we did it ourselves. We put in our own sprinkler system. We put down all the floors that we've replaced in our home. We've done our own painting. When we put new, like, garage doors on, we did that ourselves. Any window replacements that we've done, We did it ourselves. My husband did it. I was just, what do you call, like the go-to person, I don't know, what do you call the people, understudy, the grunt. I was the grunt dog, or the whatever you call the person that stands there for moral support and hands the tools over. Somebody that might hold the window still while you're drilling a screw in or something. But we did it together. Any plumbing issue, my husband did it. Never, ever, ever have I hired a plumber, an electrician, a painter, a contractor, nothing. Except if you have to hire a contractor for a roof. So now that I'm by myself, we were working on replacing a deck. You know, over time your deck needs to be replaced. So only part of it was taken down and a few new boards were put in. We were in the process of pulling up all the carpeting upstairs. We did pull it all up, but we haven't gotten rid of all the little tacks around the edges, and painting upstairs. And we were going to put down hardwood floors. Okay, so all I have is carpet ripped up. There was a bigger project that in older homes sometimes major things happen and you've got to address them. Well, we were getting to the point that we had to address an issue. So that's still an issue. And it's not addressed because I can't afford it. When my husband died, we were getting his Social Security on top of the allowance that we chose for our living expenses from his retirement. All of his retirement is invested, thank God, secure, invested. If something were to happen to me, like if I needed something, I could very well probably be okay. But you don't want to do that. I mean, that's not financially smart. So with me being 58 years old, my financial advisor wants me to wait until I'm 65 or 66 to start drawing Social Security. And he wants me to continue to live on this income that I have. I don't get my husband's Social Security. So my income dropped drastically. Our household income dropped drastically when my husband passed away. So although I'm not feeding two people and I'm not gassing up 3 cars like we used to, and I'm not paying insurance on 3 vehicles, I'm only paying for 1. I still have to pay my water bill, my electricity bill, my cable bill, my phone bill, my water bill, my health insurance, groceries, any type of entertainment that I do, and save for my future, and try to create somewhat of a cushion, because I don't want to have to pick up the phone and say I've got to take money out of my retirement, because I'm only 58 years old. And you know how expensive it is to live. I do not want to start depleting the little nest egg that my husband created. When I say I'm okay financially. But my husband and I didn't save like a lot of people that are married save. When I met him, he was divorced with 2 children. And then we got married and had 3 more children. And I honestly did not work. I did work. I taught preschool at a church for 20 some odd years, but that was really volunteer work with a punch. Like, I only got paid a little bit of money. But my husband worked his little bahunky off and made sure all 5 of his children were taken care of. I was taken care of, and everything that we needed, all of our needs were met. And yes, he was able to put back some money, but not nearly as much as he probably should have. But enough that we were going to be okay. We were completely fine for the rest of our lives. As long as the investments, everything held up, we were fine. And I'm going to be fine too. Just want to let y'all know that. There are a lot of people that when their husband passes along and has had a full career, they're more financially stable than I am, you know. But I'm very lucky because there are a lot of people that have nothing invested for their future, you know. So I'm not saying I'm destitute. So when I come here and say I live only on $3,000 a month, that is the truth. I do. But I'm not destitute at all. I own my house. I own my vehicle. I have no credit card debt. I do have a retirement that, you know, I'm living off of. Like, I get to do that. But if I'm not careful and I don't do what I'm supposed to do, that retirement I could completely defund it and be broke tomorrow, because I honestly think this day and time, it would be very hard for a family to make it under $100,000 a year. Yes, they could make it, but could they save for their future? Could they not have debt? Could they dig themselves out of debt? Let's say we had a family of 7. There's no way you wouldn't be able to save a penny. If you wanted a house, or a car, you would definitely have to finance it. I would think. I don't know, but I just know that inflation is a real thing. A real thing. So I'm very grateful to my husband, and I'm also grateful to God for my life and the things that I do have, because I am very, very, very blessed. And I want everybody to know that to start off with. But with that being said, yes, I do struggle. I cannot touch any money that if I were to call my financial advisor and say, oh my goodness, this just happened, I need $7,000. That money's got to come out of a fund and get taxed before it comes to me. So I would essentially have to take out, 30% more just to get the $7,000 that's sitting there. Does that make sense? So I would not want to do that. But if something major happened, I guess I would have no choice. But I'm trying to work my way into a financial independence that I don't even have to think that if something were to happen, I have to do that. That's what I'm trying to avoid. Okay? I hope that makes sense. So, $3,000 to me, that's what I was going to say, sounds like a lot to some people, but to me, it's not. It pays all of my high bills that I have. Not only that, I have to pay house insurance, house taxes, car insurance, car taxes, any emergency that comes up, and save for all of these big ticket items that need to be repaired. So no, $3,000 is not a lot. Last year I actually did not make an envelope for Thanksgiving or Christmas just for food. And that almost literally, I was like, wow. I wasn't going to unstuff my envelopes to go buy a turkey. You know what I mean? No. But this year I made an envelope for it. So that's a good thing. Anyway, so $3,000 to other people would be completely impossible. They would say, there's no way I could live on $3,000 a month. You may live in New York or California. I live in South Carolina. I can live on $3,000 a month. So we've already talked about where all my money goes: housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, insurance, sinking funds, and savings. And the way I do all of my bills is I do the cash envelope stuffing. Every dollar needs a job. So I get $3,000, and I make sure every single penny has a job. Even if I have not assigned it somewhere, that money's going somewhere. It's not just going to sit there. I put it in what I call my overflow money. It's kind of like miscellaneous, but it's going somewhere. I've been very fortunate. When my husband died, I did not start out with a zero bank balance. I didn't start out with a $20,000 emergency fund. I mean, I did have money saved, but my husband's funeral was almost $20,000. I think it was like $18,000. We had a very simple funeral. When I say simple, it was private. Private just for me, my children, their spouses, my grandchildren, my husband's brother, sister, and a brother-in-law. That was it. Unfortunately, a few more people found out and showed up, which is okay, but that's not what we planned. So we did not have pallbearers. We only did graveside service. We did not hire an officiant or whatever you call a funeral person to speak. Of course, I did buy him a good coffin, one that we liked, aesthetically good. I did end up getting the middle vault, not the most expensive one. I always heard you can go the cheapest on the vault, but then when they showed it to me, I couldn't do the cheapest. The cheapest looked like a little toolbox, and I just couldn't put him in a toolbox. And then that didn't even include the grave marker. And I didn't even have to buy a cemetery plot. We already had those in my family. So even if I had $20,000 set aside for emergency, that would have taken it. So I guess I was fortunate enough that I did call my financial advisor, and we did have an emergency fund there, and so I was able to get the funeral paid for and not really touch any of my little bit of money that we had in our personal savings and checking. But we didn't have life insurance. We did until he retired, but that was going to be too much on our fixed income. And plus, life insurance, from what the research that I did, is, yeah, it's great. I mean, we paid a lot of years into it, but you don't need to buy life insurance if you really can live without it, And so, thank God, we were at a point that I can live without having had that life insurance policy. I was able to still pay my bills and go on. Okay, so with that said, we talked about every dollar having a job. When you plan ahead, it reduces stress. It really does. So, for example, I'm just going to tell you, like house insurance. See, my house insurance, my envelope. This is not due until February 2027. Yes, I'm stuffing it right now. I've got $1,160 in that right this minute. But guess how much I have to save? $3,600. That's a little bit more than what I need. I always overestimate. But I have to have $3,600 February 2027 just for house insurance. That's 1 month and a half of what I get each month. Well, 1 month and a week, right? Then, the same month, at the very same time, I have my car insurance. $2,400. That's the rest of the month. So for 2 solid months of my income that I'm getting next February are gone. 2 full months just to pay 2 bills. And then my house taxes are due in December. And my car taxes are due March 2027. And guess what? I have my car taxes fully funded already for March 2027. And that money's sitting in a high yield savings account, Ally, earning interest at like 3.3% interest. And it's going to sit there until a week before I have to pay it. And then I'll transfer it and pay my bill. But I'm going to be making money while it's sitting there. My house taxes, I've got $890 saved. And I only need $1,200. So I'm going to hurry up and fully fund it as well. As quick can be, I'm going to get that one fully funded. And then I'm going to, snowball effect, I'm going to work on my car insurance. I'm going to fully fund it. And then the next one's going to be my house insurance, fully funded. Those are my 4 top priorities that have to happen in my life for me to know that I'm okay. Because now, of course, I do pay my bills every month, right? That's the first thing you do, or pay your bills. And then the second things you do are start saving for your future. And that is my future bills. I can't just sit there and say, oh, I'm going to go on vacation. And then all of a sudden, boom, I've got to pay that money. You can't do that. You cannot do that. So planning ahead reduces stress. Now when that time comes, I'm not going to be stressed out because I have already planned on it. And small savings add up. I can't do everything. I cannot. My goal is to have $20,000 emergency money sitting in a savings account, not with my financial advisor. I have another goal, 3 to 6 months living expenses. I want those two to be separate, separate. Those are 2 big financial goals. But I can barely come up with enough money to I haven't even fully funded those 4 major bills that I have to pay. I just hadn't been able to do it. So I'm doing the small and steady wins the race. I know I'm okay. I know I'm okay. If an emergency happens tomorrow, like when that tree fell, no, I'm not okay because I don't have enough emergency money planned and saved to pay for it. But am I going to take that money out of my tax money for my house or my house insurance for next year? Heck no, I'm leaving it. That's staying right where it is because that's just as important. There are other categories that I'm not going to fund until I get the tree taken down. But I will tell you this, until I save up the money to get that tree finished taken care of, I will not be going on vacation. I do have a vacation planned. I will still be stuffing my vacation envelope. But if a friend of mine called me tomorrow and said, let's go to the beach for a week or come to the beach, and I would have to help pay for a hotel or all of the expenses that go along with going to the beach, this person's going to say, nope, I can't afford it. It's just going to have to wait. I do have a trip on my books for next month. Gas money going to a friend's house. Just spending a weekend on her front porch, catching up, maybe a few thrift stores. That's it. We're not going to do anything major, you know. I will continue to do emergency. Only $5 a week. But small and steady pays off. The way I do my emergency is I've got emergency, savings, and medical. You know, car maintenance. That's all emergency. You know that, right? House maintenance is emergency. Month ahead is emergency. So all of these items, I'm only stuffing $5 a week in. But it's paying off slowly but steadily. So I have 105 in emergency, 105 in savings. That's $210. Medical, 105, so that's $315. Car maintenance is 60, so $315. That's $315. That's $370. $85, $385. House maintenance has 105. So $385, that would be $485, $490. I've almost saved $500 towards emergencies. And that's really good on a $3,000 a month income. But I want to break it down because in my head, I would like to know that I have a house emergency fund and I have a house car emergency fund and I have medical. But if something happened, I'm going to take all of those and put them together and use it towards my emergency money. You get what I'm saying? So emergency funds are very, very essential whenever you are living on a tight income. You save for emergencies. You save like your life depends on it. That way, in my mind, me having so many categories, they're all backup plans. It just gives me extra security in my mind. But you do it the way you want to. Some people can just put it in the bank and forget it. Me, I want a relationship with my money. You know? But you also have to live, right? Like you have to have some sort of life. I mean, you cannot just roll through life without anything to look forward to. but it's hard. Really hard. I've been doing stupid spending, and I've got to stop. Like, I have to stop. Unexpected expenses are going to pop up. Inflation is outrageous. You're going to have to say no to things sometimes, and that's what I'm about to start doing. And I've got to stay disciplined. I did the thing, and I'm very happy about it. It's called DoorDash. I'm entitled to DoorDash. If I want to not go somewhere today because it's 97 degrees and my nose is completely, like, I can blow my nose 100 times. I've already done that today, but I can blow it 100 more times and still not have my sinuses cleaned out. I am so stopped up. If I would, DoorDash is good. I can order groceries from the grocery store and they can deliver to my house. I won't have to get anybody sick. I don't have to get dressed. I don't have to do any of those things. That's good. DoorDash is a blessing. Actually, over 20 some odd years ago, I almost started a business called Life Made Easy with that same concept for my hometown. And my husband kind of talked me out of it. I mean, I had it down to a science. I had my business plan, everything. Because he said he thought it was a little bit too dangerous. So, But anyway, Life Made Easy was going to be my idea. And it was going to be awesome, actually. But I ordered lunch today from DoorDash. Yesterday I ordered my whole family lunch next door. Although I do have dining out money for us to eat lunch, I spent more than that yesterday. But the thing about DoorDash is it's coming out of my checking account. So I haven't been pulling the cash like I should. So I think what I'm going to have to do is make an envelope for DoorDash. And I'm going to have to start pulling money to go into DoorDash. I don't think I'm going to stop using it completely, but I do not need to use it like I did this past week. I was sick. I was sick. I will give myself that. But I've got to discipline myself because those are unexpected. Those are little charges that can add up. And before you know it, you have spent way more money than you had ever planned. And there goes your month ahead money. Because I'm 1 month ahead in my checking account. If I keep that up, even though it's coming out of my checking account, I'm going to look, and I'm not going to have $3,000 sitting in my checking account at all times. I'm going to look and it's going to say $2,000. And I'm going to go, holy cow, what happened? And I'm going to say that was because you kept DoorDashing. Like, no, you cannot DoorDash and tip. It's fine to DoorDash every now and again. But not, like today, I could have gotten in my car and gone and picked up lunch. But I didn't. And now it's to the point I need to. But the good parts about saving money and being on a tight budget and cash envelope stuffing, all of the things that we've been talking about, is that when you budget and you save and you are disciplined, you feel more in control. You're in control of your life. There's no surprises because you know where every single penny of your money went. You know it because you're watching it. You're touching it. You're feeling it. You're planning it. You're giving it jobs before it even needs a job. You're on top of it. And then the other good part about it is sitting there watching your savings grow. I have savings from last year in my high yield savings account. And this year when I started in January, I wiped my totals clean in all of my binders and said I was just going to start over. Next year I won't do that. I'm going to leave a running balance on my budget sheets. I don't know why I did it that way this year, but going forward, I will always have a running total of what my actual money is. But when you watch your savings grow, every single dollar it grows, you get a little bit more breathing. I'm going to be okay. And when you live below your means, which I've always lived below my means because I had no choice. We had 5 children, but I've never been the one to try to keep up with the Joneses. You know, I did not care if I had a brand new car or the most stylish clothes. It gives me just as much thrill to find something secondhand that I paid like $5 for, and then know that my neighbor just paid $100 for the same clothing item. Especially when my children were little. They did not know that I was thrifting, but whenever they would come home and find that next big brand in their size laying on their bed when they got home from school, they were excited. And I told them nobody will ever know, because usually when we go shopping for new clothes, we wash them before we wear them. So it doesn't have to have the tag on it when you get it. And then another good part is just having goals with purpose. You know, my goals, I have all these goals behind me, and those are big goals, but they all have a purpose. They're all meant to do something good for me and my family. You know, yes, I'm going to the beach on a family vacation. That's necessary. I'm not going to miss it. I'm going to work really hard on saving money for that. Next month, I'll get in my car and I'll put gas in my car, but I haven't driven my car in 4 days. The last time I put gas in my car and all I had to do was top off the tank was when my daughter and I went to the beach in May. She took me to the beach for the weekend. And that was at the beginning of May. And so it's been over a month and I haven't had to fill up with gas. So all I'm going to have to do is buy the same amount of groceries that I would spend on myself anyway, and go spend the weekend with one of my best friends that I've known forever and who would do anything in the world for me. Go spend the weekend with my best friend. I'm definitely going to do that. I'm not going to deprive myself. And that's with purpose. I need to spend time with my friend. August and September are so hot. I just don't know. I think those should be my no-spend months. I don't know. I need to get back into something I started on my computer. But I think the whole entire summer is going to be me hibernating, because I do not do heat well. And so if I can't go anywhere because of the heat, I can't spend money, right? So maybe that should be my goal, is I save money in the summer so I can live and have something to look forward to in fall, winter, and spring. October is our big vacation. And then November and December are just like, you know, birthdays October, birthdays November, birthdays December, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I want to adopt another Christmas child this year. So many things to look forward to. But having goals with purpose, and that's what I intend to do. And we're in the 6th month. Like after this month is over, we only have half of a year to make all of these goals come to truth, right? That just makes me think. Hold on. It just makes me think if I need, it's just going to put reality into something. So I need $3,600 divided by 2 equals, I need $1,800 at the end of June. In 6 more months, I'm going to need $1,800. I've only got $1,160 saved. So I'm not even on task. I can add 2 more months to it just because of it's due in February. But I'm not on, I've got to double down and figure out how that little bill is going to get fully funded. You know, it's hard. It's hard. There's so many moving parts to everything. Like if my hot water heater went out right now, you know, I do have the money to fix it, but I'm not going to pull from that. That's for sure. When you have to also have a big picture in your head, because it's so easy to get in a rut and say, you know, I'm just barely making ends meet. I'm not doing anything to spend money. Every now and again I beat myself up because I get DoorDash. I'm talking to myself like how people talk to themselves. You know, I don't buy clothes. I'm not out having drinks with my friends, although I do, but not anywhere where I'm buying them out in public. You know, I would love to go to a bar at happy hour. Oh, I used to have so much fun and talk to my friends and drink 2 or maybe even 3 beers. You know, get one of my children to come pick me up and bring me home. That would be so much fun. But I can't afford it. So if I want to do that, I've got to save up for a night like that. And then whenever I save up for it, I don't think I'm going to want to go spend $50 at a bar with tips and buying beer just to talk to a friend at happy hour that I probably won't ever go eat lunch with. Just, you know, to get out my house. So you have to have purpose, you know, and know what you're working toward. I'd much rather take that money and save it for a beach house, you know. You have to know too with sacrifice, what you're doing while you're sacrificing is that you're building financial peace. Do I think I'm going to be living like I am right now for the rest of my life? No. No, I think I'm going to end up being better off financially, and I'm going to be able to spend money without having to worry if I'm going to have enough money to pay my house insurance in February. Yes, I'm going to be okay. There is something in my future that I know I'm going to be okay. And when I say that, it sounds like, oh, I'm going to come into all this money. No, I may come into a little bit of money that's going to help. But if I come up with the plan, like if the land comes down to it, and I do the repairs I need on this house and sell it, then my next little house is not going to cost nearly as much as this house. You know, it just won't. And I am definitely, for the rest of my life, until I am no longer of sound mind, will always continue to cash stuff. Even if they go away with cash, and they probably will, I will definitely take my placeholder money and I will cash stuff with it, because that's still making a relationship with my money. I like getting my $3,000 out. I like figuring out how many denominations I need. I like all of my bills are drafted. My water bill's drafted. My phone bill's drafted. Everything is drafted. Except for my health insurance. I do pay it manually. But I stuff my water bill in cash every single month. And every single month, I count it and put it in there and pay my bill. I'm 1 month ahead, so I can do that. It's like I have just paid that bill. I start out with $3,000, pay all of my bills, and this is all I have left. And that's got to be my weekly allowance, and it's got to be saving for my future. I'm always going to cash stuff, one way or the other, even if it's with fake money. I should have started whenever I was in my 20s. And then I do need desperately, and I know it's, maybe I'm not motivated now because of this issue I've got going on, but I've got to have a side hustle, whether it's a part-time job, whether it's a part-time job and selling on eBay, or maybe it's selling on eBay with a part-time job. I need supplemental income. I need it for to make things move faster, for sure, because I don't think it's gonna take me a long time to get to $20,000 if I've only saved $500 in 6 months. You get what I'm saying? That'll take a long time. So, and it would be good for me. I can see myself slipping, especially with DoorDash. Like, I do not have to leave my house today. I can stay in this ratty, thin, most comfortable little house moo-moo dress every day of this week and not feel bad. Lunchtime, I just walk through my backyard into my daughter's backyard. And voila, we can sit down and eat lunch together. I don't care if they see me in it. Apparently, I don't care who sees me in it. I'm on the internet in it right now. But anyway, that's where I'm coming from, like the reality of living on a fixed income. If you have any questions whatsoever, hit me up, leave me a message. And I would really, really love it if you could hit subscribe. You know, I have 85 followers. That's very exciting. But if you have any questions, ask. I've only been doing it for 1 year and 6 months. And like I said, my only regret is not doing it sooner. That's my only regret. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. And I will see you later. Bye.